Section 67 of English Synonyms and Antonyms. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, visit LibriVox.org. English Synonyms and Antonyms by James Champlin Fernald. Wander to youthful. Wander. Synonyms: deviate, digress, diverge, err, go astray, ramble, range, roam, rove, stray, swerve, veer. To wander, Anglo-Saxon winden, wend, is to move in an indefinite or indeterminate way, which may or may not be a departure from a prescribed way. To deviate, Latin de, from, and via, away, is to turn from a prescribed or right way, physically, mentally, or morally, usually in an unfavorable sense. To diverge, Latin die, apart, and vergo, incline, tend, is to turn from a course previously followed, or that something else follows, and has no unfavorable implication. To digress, Latin die, apart, aside, and gradior, step, is used only with reference to speaking or writing. To err is used of intellectual or moral action, and of the moral with primary reference to the intellectual, an error being viewed as in some degree due to ignorance. Range, roam, and rove imply the traversing of considerable, often of vast, distances of land or sea. Range commonly implies a purpose, as cattle range for food, a hunting dog ranges a field for game. Roam and rove are often purposeless, and always without definite aim. To swerve or veer is to turn suddenly from a prescribed or previous course, and often but momentarily. Veer is more capricious and repetitious. The horse swerves at the flash of a sword. The wind veers. The ship veers with the wind. To stray is to go in a somewhat purposeless way aside from the regular path or usual limits or abode, usually with unfavorable implication. Cattle stray from their pastures. An author strays from his subject. One strays from the path of virtue. Stray is in most uses a lighter word than wander. Ramble, in its literal sense, is always a word of pleasant suggestion, but in its figurative use always somewhat contemptuous, as rambling talk. Way. Synonyms: alley, avenue, bridle path, channel, course, driveway, high road, highway, lane, pass, passage, passageway, path, pathway, road, roadway, route, street, thoroughfare, track. Wherever there is room for one object to pass another, there is a way. A road, originally a rideway, is a prepared way for traveling with horses or vehicles, always the latter unless the contrary is expressly stated. A way suitable to be traversed only by foot passengers or by animals is called a path, bridle path, or track, as the roads in that country are mere bridle paths. A road may be private. A highway or high road is public, highway being a specific name for a road legally set apart for the use of the public forever. A highway may be over water as well as over land. A route is a line of travel, and may be over many roads. A street is in some center of habitation, as a city, town, or village. When it passes between rows of dwellings, the country road becomes the village street. An avenue is a long, broad, and imposing or principal street. Track is a word of wide signification. We speak of a goat track on a mountainside, a railroad track, a race track, the track of a comet. On a traveled road, the line, worn by regular passing of hoofs and wheels in either direction, is called the track. A passage is between any two objects or lines of enclosure, a pass commonly between mountains. A driveway is within enclosed grounds, as of a private residence. A channel is a waterway. A thoroughfare is a way through. A road or street temporarily or permanently closed at any point ceases for such time to be a thoroughfare. Compare air, direction. Wisdom. Synonyms: attainment, depth; discernment, discretion; enlightenment, erudition; foresight, information; insight, judgment; judiciousness, knowledge; learning, prescience; profundity, prudence; reason, reasonableness; sagacity, sense; skill, understanding. Enlightenment, erudition, information, knowledge, learning, and skill are acquired as by study or practice. Insight, judgment, profundity or depth, reason, sagacity, sense, and understanding are native qualities of mind, though capable of increase by cultivation. The other qualities are on the border line. Wisdom has been defined as the right use of knowledge, or the use of the most important means for attaining the best ends, wisdom thus presupposing knowledge for its very existence and exercise. Wisdom is mental power acting upon the materials that fullest knowledge gives in the most effective way. There may be what is termed practical wisdom that looks only to material results, but in its full sense wisdom implies the highest and noblest exercise of all the faculties of the moral nature as well as of the intellect. Prudence is a lower and more negative form of the same virtue, respecting outward and practical matters, and largely with a view of avoiding loss and injury. Wisdom transcends prudence, so that while the part of prudence is ordinarily also that of wisdom, cases arise, as in the exigencies of business or of war, when the highest wisdom is in the disregard of the maxims of prudence. Judgment, the power of forming decisions, especially correct decisions, is broader and more positive than prudence, leading one to do as readily as to refrain from doing. But judgment is more limited in range and less exalted in character than wisdom. To say of one that he displayed good judgment is much less than to say that he manifested wisdom. Skill is far inferior to wisdom, consisting largely in the practical application of acquired knowledge, power, and habitual processes, or in the ingenious contrivance that makes such application possible. In the making of something perfectly useless there may be great skill, but no wisdom. Compare acumen, astute; knowledge, mind; prudence, sagacious, skillful.